Test is that you have to get a camera cable, bring it out. Obviously I'm looking to see whether you're dragging this end along the floor or stepping on it or tripping all over it or whatever. So you'll bring it out, not necessarily this far, who knows where the camera will be, but you're going to basically hook up the camera. So obviously it'll be off. You need to find that little red mark on the inner collar. Line it up with the red mark on here. So with that red mark. And then once you put it in, this collar is going to stop it unless it just happens to be at the right place. But as you move this collar, it should pull in, and then you'll have to actually tighten it up, and I'll ask you when you think it's good. Then I'll just double check. One of the things you can do is check inside this little hole to see whether the pegs are there. So I don't know if you can see that on camera, but that peg right there should be in one of the holes. Right? So you can have a little check there and say, yep, that's hooked up. And then I would ask, where do you power up this beast? And you should know that you go into the CCU unit and flick the power switch on. So we can do that once we get there. And then you'll be asked to unhook the camera and stow it, right? So unhooking is, if you twist this, it should just basically back itself off. And you just kind of give it a little wiggle and it should come off. And then you got to wrap up the cable so it's nice and neat. Okay, so the loops all roughly the same size, except possibly the last one. If it doesn't work out, this goes over it. Questions about that? Okay, so for the most part, the teams have been doing a good job with that all the way along. Okay, so then you'll be asked to explain the controls on the camera, and it won't be this camera, but I'll ask you, whoops, which of these is your tilt lock, and which of these is your pan lock. And the thing to really look at, because you won't have the T and P on that camera, is that this kind of circular thing that allows the camera to go this way, or tilt, the lock for it is right on there. So that's the easy way to remember this. So that's your tilt lock, and this is your pan lock. So I'll get you to unlock those, ask you where your tilt and pan frictions are. So your tilt friction is right next to it. So that's pretty easy. And then by process of elimination, you look around for your other wheel, and there's your pan friction. And notice it is on the lower base, just like this lock is on the lower base, right? So that's locked, doesn't move. This is unlocked, and the tension is all based on the friction. Okay? And I will get you to set that up so it's good for you, because later I'm going to make you do a camera move. Okay, so I'll set up the camera on one thing, and I'll ask you to prepare to do the camera move, which means you should do what? Unlock, get it set up correctly.
You don't move until I say so.
Yeah, but you should pre-focus. Okay, so when I say, okay, what I'm going to have you do is zoom in on this thing over here, you should go in, zoom in, focus up, go back, and then I'll tell you when to do the move, like just like as if it was a person's face or something. So I will give you the opportunity to set that up, and pre-focusing is part of that. Like I will make sure that if you zoom into that thing, the focus will be off. So you'll know it if you do it wrong, but you need to pre-focus. Okay. Then we go across, I'm not sure what order those are in, because I might ask this first. I always refer to that piece of paper that we don't have on hand right now. But you will be asked about the controls for your viewfinder. Okay? So first of all, like how do you adjust the tilt? And the important thing is that only one of these works. Okay? You've got knobs on both sides, but the one that actually has the writing on it is that you twist to unlock so that you can adjust it for yourself. Okay? And that way you can get these so that you can see them too. So what is the peaking? Why do we have peaking?
it's like the different colorations of the skin, right? And there's like little dots on our skin.
But
Like,
why?
they make it like that.
But why do we do that?
Looks sharper.
To sharpen it so that it makes it easier to
Focus.
makes it easier to focus, right? So it sharpens up the image. You're quite right. It's like putting a sharpen filter on in Photoshop. Okay, what about the tally light? Why would we ever turn this on or off?
The light from tele light could be distracting or could show up in a reflection.
Yeah, okay. And your brightness and contrast, okay. I'll ask you basically what it's adjusting the brightness and contrast for. Does this affect what comes out of there or into there?
No, it's just for your own personal.
Right, okay. So this is your zoom control, right? And obviously the more you push it, but this will be sort of in your demonstration. When I ask you to make a move slowly into something, you'll have to zoom, tilt, and pan all at the same time to do it. So that should be easy for you to practice, but just remember, the more you push that over, the faster it goes, but that speed is controlled here. So if you slow this down, it'll never go fast, even when you do that. Or if you go over here, that's the fastest speed that it can go. So you can always adjust that separately. Okay, and this is your focus knob here. So you'll be demonstrating that when you pre-focus, hopefully, on the object before you do the move in on it, okay?